Okay, as you can see, I got this bike, if I don't fall down, up on the lift now. Fuel tanks are back on it. They're cleaned. I put fresh fuel line on this bike. Totally rebuilt the pitcock here. That's totally rebuilt. Got new everything on it. Put a clear fuel filter on here. And the main reason for putting on this clear fuel filter, I got most of the stuff out of the tanks, but if I still get rust and a little bit of spent fuel that I didn't get out, this should catch it and I'll be able to see how much I didn't get out. But I think I got most of it out. I got the plugs back in it. I believe I'm going to build some new spark plug wires for this ride. It's not regurgitating oil all over the place anymore. These bikes have what's known as a wet sump here in the case. So when they sit for a lot of years, all the oil from the oil tank here, these horseshoe oil tanks, or any oil tank which technically sits above the case, all that oil is going to come back into the bottom of the motor. And a few years later, when you try to crank it up, whether it's this bike or this Softail I went through several years ago, where you can see oil tanks up here, crankcase is here, here's the oil pump. As it sits over the years, the oil you got in here is going to go all down in the bottom of this engine. And when you go to crank it back up, when you decide you want to run again, it's going to throw it all up out the crankcase vent, every bit of it. Same thing with this motorcycle. It's set for several years. So all the oil up here in this oil tank rolled down here into the case. And when I started kicking this thing over to get everything working again, to get oil back through it, to get all the old oil out, excuse me, like I said, it threw it up all over the floor. Carburetor here is rebuilt, went through it. It's your standard S&S Super E. I got rid of this. I don't really care much for the S&S chokes. I do like, actually just lets more fuel in the carb. It's really not a choke. These are made by Lowbrow Custom. I love them. You just pull this up to the right, fire the bike off. Once it gets idling, click it over. It's done. I like it. Fresh set of points in here. Fresh set of points in condenser. Everything's sparking. I got spark. Carburetor's clean. I got fuel to the carburetor, fuel to the cylinders. Fresh battery in the bike. Got it kind of charging a little bit because when they come from batteries or rust, you need to let them charge for a little while. But this project is moving along. I'm really getting into it. What I'm going to do next, this chain really hasn't seen a lot of action, and it's a new chain, but it's got a lot of gunk and crap in it. So I'll take my jack here and lift up the back wheel, and I'll roll around, clean the chain, and then put some chain lube on it and grease, and that should take care of that. One thing this bike has, this has the old mousetrap clutch, which after the suicide clutch and all that, jockey shift, which jockey shift would have been here, clutch pedal would have been right there where the gear shifter is. But it was replaced and they put on the mousetrap clutch, which these are not bad to adjust really if they ever get out of whack. They're pretty simple. They go pretty well, really. But anyway, as you can see, got this old girl up on the lift. Got a battery in her, power works. She had a slight short, got the short out. Got fresh points in, condenser. We'll get the chain done. We'll clean up the battery and get it more in the box and everything. And hopefully in the next day or two, we'll roll this old girl off the lift and fire her up, bring her on to life. You know what I mean? It's going to be great. Anyway, till next time, over and out.